God, I wish I was talking about your movie instead. Seriously, why am I talking about this movie? No, like, seriously, why? I will just be completely upfront. I think this movie is going to be bad. I think there's a very low chance it has of succeeding. I think there's a very low chance I will enjoy this movie, ironically or unironically. But even worse than that, I think this movie will make too much money. I think people will blindly enjoy it. I think it will blindly get obnoxious critical praise it does not deserve. And I will think it will not even be enjoyably bad or memorably bad. I think it will be just another video game movie that isn't interesting to talk about. Illumination is one of my least favorite animation studios of all time. They are my least favorite major animation studio that is operating currently. And they are literally the last people I would choose to make this movie. I would pick Sony. I would pick DreamWorks. I would pick Disney. I would pick Pixar. I would even say Paramount before I said Illumination should handle a Mario movie. Even before the voice cast was released, I had no hope for this movie because it was just flat out said, Sakurai met Illumination when he was putting together Universal Studios' Super Mario World. So that's what we're going with. He met him, he liked him, they make kids' movies, they're perfect. Screw Paramount, who listened to the fans and remade Sonic's design. Screw Nintendo for making an amazing movie like Detective Pikachu that proved that competent video game movies can be made. No, go with the jerks who made The Grinch and the Lorax. Go with the dumbasses who created the Minions and then exploited them and exploited them and exploited them and exploited them. Go with the people who made a good movie to debut on, realized they had something, and before they even knew what they had, they packaged it and patented it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it, you're selling it, you're selling it. Well, guess what? I'm done. I am just done. I don't like Illumination. I don't like their movies. I don't like the company. I don't like what they have done to animation as a whole. I don't like the influence their films have on kids. I don't like the influence their films have on creators. I don't like them. And I am sick of being in the group of people who don't like them and have to say over and over why we don't like them. Because the reason we don't like them is because they are so bland. They are so unimaginative. They pour out schlock that will make money and shut up kids. It's not memorable, it's not interesting, it's not engaging, it's not fun to watch. But why do people go see it? Because it's for kids. It's for kids, and they'll shut them up for an hour and a half, so we should go and take them. But no, the trailers look so good. Yeah, that's because Illumination does one of the most annoying marketing tricks on the planet when it comes to movies. They take, quite literally, I am not exaggerating here, all of the best jokes in the movie and put them in the trailers. The trailers are entirely made up of the best scenes in the movie that are not the climax. Every time. Virtually nothing that makes you laugh in an Illumination movie wasn't already shown in the trailer. Virtually none of it. And they do that so that you see the trailers, you think the rest of the movie will be like that, you see it, and they don't care if you liked it or not because they got your money. I probably wouldn't even be howling this much if this wasn't an adaptation of an existing product that Illumination is doing, which they have already screwed up twice. I don't like the Lorax. I think it's a terrible adaptation. I don't like the Grinch. I think it's a terrible adaptation. But people loved it and made money off of it and marketed it and sold out and sold out and sold out so that they could make money off of it. Because that's all that matters to Illumination. Your money. They want your money. The end. They don't care about creative ideas. They don't care about new movies. They care about stuff that can be marketed and sold and sold and sold. And you know why that is? Because they created a good movie that had decent characters in it for entertainment purposes and realized that kids found them cute, so they could start selling them on everything they wanted. The Minions are one of the worst things to happen to animation in history. I don't care if you like them or not. I don't care if the most recent film was good or not. They are one of the worst creations in the history of animation because every other studio is looking for their Minions, their new Minions. Blue Sky Scrat became their Minion. Ice Age became their Despicable Me. Just milk it and milk it and milk it until every last bit is drained from it so that you can make money. And where did that go? Blue Sky got enveloped by Disney like a blob and died within a year with the movie they had 75% gone down the tube. Ugh. Sorry. I have been needing to say that for a long time. Now let's talk about the voice cast. Okay. I'll try and be calmer, but especially now that we have the example of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which for the time being are the gold standard of competent video game movies in my eyes. This is a bad cast. This is not a good cast for these characters. I like Chris Pratt. Fine. I enjoy Star-Lord. Usually. But the more crap I watch Chris Pratt in, even if his hair is different, I still see Star-Lord because he is that recognizable. And because he is a popular celebrity right now that kids enjoy watching, that means he has to be in a lot of kids' media now. Why do you think he's voicing Garfield? Because he's a popular celebrity right now. Why do you think he gets to be Mario? Because he's a very popular celebrity right now. Why do you think he keeps returning to the Jurassic World movies? Because he was in the first reboot, so he was in the sequel, so he could be in Dominion, and he will continue to be in them because they are extremely popular, his character is recognizable and easy to write for, and it makes him and the studio more money. That's why I don't think he's going to be a good Mario. Mario does not have to be Italian to work. Mario doesn't even have to be nonverbal to work. I think it often works better when he does talk. I really like the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. I think Captain Lou Albano is a very memorable and fun Mario. I remember Mario's voice in the cartoons. I liked that voice. A Brooklyn accented Mario works well. But casting Star-Lord, Garfield, Chris Pratt doesn't work for Mario. He does not have the kind of voice I imagine coming out of a character like that. Oh, but Paul, then shouldn't you not like Ben Schwartz? I mean, that's a really random character. They could have just gotten Roger Craig Smith. Yeah, here's the thing in 2 points on that. 1, I think Ben Schwartz is an excellent Sonic. He does the exact same voice that he does for Dewey, and that works so well because the characters work so well in tandem. When I watch Dewey on DuckTales, I hear Sonic, and when I listen to Sonic in the movies, I hear Dewey. The two happen to work off each other really well. But when I watch Mario, I don't want to hear Star-Lord. When I watch Mario, I don't want to hear Owen, the Raptor trainer, because those two characters are so polar opposite that it doesn't work unless he puts in the effort of a different voice. And the studio does not have a reason for me to have hope that they will give enough direction for that and care about it. And I don't mean to just put it all the blame on Chris Pratt. I don't want to put the blame on the actors themselves. They don't direct. They don't write. They just say their lines and act and get money for it. And to be honest, I don't have a lot of experience with the other voice actors is the issue. I don't know who Charlie Day is. I don't know who Anya Taylor-Joy is. These aren't people I recognize, and that's a double-edged sword. I didn't recognize Idris Elba when I first heard he was going to play Knuckles. So then I looked him up. I realized, oh, he played Chief Bogo in Zootopia. That's a great casting. He played the gunslinger in that horrendous Dark Tower movie. Those are great characters that translate to a good Knuckles. And he turned in an amazing Knuckles because they redeveloped the character to work with his voice in a way that still felt fitting for the character. Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was like Sonic Boom's Knuckles with a better proportioned body and a more competent mind. And that worked really, really well. A more rough and tumble Knuckles that I really liked. And then, to make matters worse in the whole let's compare these two franchises, they deliberately got back Colleen, I'm sorry I can't say your last name, ma'am, as the voice of Tails. They deliberately brought her back because of how iconic she is and how long she has been voicing him. I don't think Roger Craig Smith works for this Sonic in the movies because Sonic is too young. He is a cocky, over his head style Sonic, while Roger Craig Smith is a seasoned veteran, I'm cocky and I make fun because it's what I do style Sonic, because he's been doing it for so long. And that's what makes the two different versions of him work so well. But when you say up front, after revealing who your main players of their movie have been recast as, and then saying, oh, we have Charles Martinet, but he's just doing cameos, because nobody cares about him, right? Nobody will come because Charles Martinet is the star of the movie. Adults don't know who he is, so they won't take their kids to it, right? No. Charles Martinet, I think, is a good voice actor. I think he doesn't get enough to do. I think he needs to get to record more. One of my favorite Charles Martinet performances? Luigi's Mansion 3 and Wario. That's it. He does a good Mario, but it's the same voice lines from Mario over and over. Luigi's Mansion 3, there are just so many minor sound effects and voices that he does in scenes that ooze so much charm and personality. And the animation by Next Level Games blend into that to create such an engaging character that had been built off of the foundation of Dark Moon. And that was so much fun. It's a not silent Luigi, but he still doesn't talk in complete sentences. And somehow that worked perfectly. But no, we can't have them, because if we don't have celebrities doing these beloved characters, then the adults won't take their kids to go see it, because we care more about the adults taking their kids than the kids themselves, and the millions of Nintendo fans in their 20s, 30s, and 40s at this age, on YouTube, on Twitch, all over, who grew up with Mario their entire life, who are going to see this film, because there's only the second representation of Mario on the big screen, and they want it to be better than the original, or they're just going to go see it because of the love this character has in everyone's hearts. Those people don't matter. What matters is their money. And on top of that, this became an issue, well, sort of an issue when I really got into Sonic 2, because I got better at reflecting trailers and titles and such. But this is something that has bothered me a lot recently, the more it stacks up. I thought this movie wasn't coming out until December of next year, because I thought that's what they initially announced in the original announcement of the movie when they announced the voice cast. But suddenly, and I do mean suddenly, I don't know where this came from, it is now April 7th of 2023 in America, and then I think April 23rd in Japan. Okay, that's a major change, but okay. Here's the thing. That makes your movie a little over half a year away. and you still don't have an official title of your movie. You have not released a title or logo for this film. I know people are upset the first trailer isn't out yet. We didn't get a first trailer for Sonic 2 until December, when this film was coming out in April 8th, 2022. That's a 5-month gap. That makes sense. But this film doesn't even have its title yet. Maybe this was just a personal thing, but I was really frustrated before the Nintendo Direct last week came out that for some reason the Legend of Zelda team still could not give their fans a proper title to their game. Because for over 2 years, we have had to refer to it as just Breath of the Wild 2. It took them over 2 years of delays and battling through COVID to get a title together. We didn't need a logo, we just needed a title. And it took you guys months to give us any info beyond just, we can't show stuff today, have a Game & Watch on its anniversary year. So maybe that's just a personal thing, but it really bothers me that they don't even have an official title when Sonic the Hedgehog is on movie 3 at this point, and Illumination is debuting animated Mario movie that doesn't have a title yet, starring Chris Pratt, number 1, I can't help but think of MCU versus first 5 years of DCEU. Desperately trying to catch up because the competitor is doing significantly better and failing to recognize what makes the competitor do so well. But we do have some more that I can talk about. We seem to have gotten some leaks. I've learned a little bit about this, is that a rumor is that the story is going to be based on Super Mario Adventures. If you're not aware of that, Super Mario Adventures was a comic series that debuted in Nintendo Power and ran for 13 issues. I personally have the full collection right here because I really like this book. And yes, it's an amazing comic. I really enjoy it. It's one of the best representations of the games outside the games themselves, especially in a time when no one could get that right. This book came out, This book was printed in 1993 alongside the ending. This book was originally created in 1993 when it was published in Nintendo Power. This book was printed first in October 2016, but 1993 meant the games were almost 10 years old. This takes inspiration from Super Mario World's campaign and story and characters, with hints from 3 primarily involving the Koopa Kids as a mainstay of the game, of the story. It is an excellent story to make a movie around. The 12 issues that this book comprised of, and the 13th bonus story featuring Wario based on Super Mario Land 2, actually works really well for a movie. But here are the problems with that. 1. Adapting this story means that they need 8 new voice actors. All of the Koopa Kids talk in this book, and they have a good amount to say, but all 8 of them talk. That is 8 different voice actors you would need to cast right off the bat. Second off, it is a very random, all over the place story. It starts with the Mario and Luigi doing a rap about their plumbing services, and then when Bowser comes in, he does a ridiculous rap about Princess Toadstool marrying him. And that's just the opening. The book relies on a lot of very zany, wacky, over-the-top writing and drawing, especially in the artwork. And it's extremely fun to watch, but it's not something that Illumination can do well. Illumination does facial expressions fine, but they are more on zany, over-the-top physical movement. Not physical humor, physical movement. Show me an Illumination character that does not move like any other Illumination character. The Grinch moves exactly like Gru does. Super zany, over the top, arms flailing, always constantly moving. Because the movement to your kids is what is funny. This focuses more on the visual humor of characters' reactions and expressions. And Illumination does not do reactions and expressions well. All their characters tend to keep the same facial design with very few differences outside of, at best, their eyebrows or their mouth, because the faces are one of the most marketable parts of a character's body. Problem 3. This book is really good. I don't trust Illumination to adapt this book successfully. Yeah. Problem 4. Obvious stuff like Donkey Kong is not in this book at all, Cranky Kong is not in this book at all, I have no idea why the hell Spike is going to be in this movie, and other minor things like that. A version of Kamek is in this book. Yoshi, who is not confirmed in this movie at all yet, is in this book. Toads and the Toads, not just one Toad, is in this movie, is in this book, and he has a lot of talking. So that would be a lot for Keegan-Michael Key to do all at once. Unless, again, they cast more people. And just overall, adapting it, I can see. Doing a movie around it, as much as I'd like to see that, isn't happening. This book originated in Japan. There's a part in it where after Princess Peach is unconscious and Mario gets kidnapped, Luigi has to find a way to sneak in and save him. So Luigi takes unconscious Princess Peach's clothes off screen and switches clothes with her, and comes with a mask pretending to be ill, so that he sneaks in, trying to figure out a way to free Mario, and then Princess Peach, with the help of a character exclusive to the book, manages to sneak in, and Peach has to wear Luigi's outfit. There is no way they're going to let Illumination get away with something like that. I'm surprised Nintendo allowed them to get away with that. Because quite literally, they had to take the unconscious Princess Peach, swap clothes with her, have Luigi in drag him claim that he is deathly ill and has Koopa crop, or something like that, and can't touch anyone, but Bowser insists on keeping him there anyway, like a genius. And then Princess Peach, for about, I'd say, a fifth of the book, is wearing Luigi's clothes, and vice versa. They're not going to let Illumination get away with a scene like that. So it comes to this. We'll see what my thoughts are once the trailer comes out. And I know that a lot of this was just me endlessly ranting about an animation studio more than the movie itself. But the issues with Illumination are issues that permeate across all of their movies. And the biggest one of all that frustrates me most is that they pull out all the stops for their trailers to lure people in, which will lure people who are unfamiliar to Illumination in, especially Nintendo fans who have very little experience with Illumination, especially if they only know them as the Minions. Lure them in like that, and the movie won't even be enjoyably or ironically bad. It will be serviceable fluff that's popular for a few weeks, maybe somehow squeezes out a meme or two, and then is just tossed to the wayside as another Illumination film that no one talks about. When was the last time someone talked to you about Sing? Or The Lorax? Or even The Grinch? When was the last time someone talked to you about something that Illumination made that wasn't the Minions? I rest my case. Stick with the studio that for now is proving they know how to handle a video game character. Especially since they're on their third movie. And it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. Also, I will cover Sonic Prime soon. That trailer came out the same day of recording this, so just bear with me.